Oh, here I am again. I done popped up one more time on y'all's ass. Yep, I sure did. I sure did. And I'm going to get right to it because I'm going to let y'all know when it comes down to this shit, it really is in this thing. Okay? It really is a court of hell. And I'm getting straight to it. What's up, Danny? Court of hell, the state of inferno is what we're constantly living in. So we're just going to have it be the state of inferno against Cameron Wilson. An official court transcript, jurisdictional challenge hearing. Okay? This is going to be a true and accurate transcription of proceedings before the Honorable Court of Hell. Just so you know. Yo, I found someone sent me this. I was like, yo, man, let's turn this into something we can run through real quick. If y'all want this, let me know. Send me an email. Join the Discord. Let me know. Again, this is going to be State of Inferno, plaintiff versus Cameron Wilson. Proceedings. This is going to be an opening court session. Okay? The court. Mr. Wilson, you are here today to answer to the charges brought against you. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? Your Honor, before I can enter any plea, I am here by special appearance solely to challenge the jurisdiction of this court. I require prosecution to prove on the record, let's zoom this in a little bit more. There we go. That's better. That this court has both subject matter and personal jurisdiction over me and this matter. The court. This is a criminal case, and this court has jurisdiction over such matters. You need to enter a plea. Your Honor, I do not waive any rights and do not concede jurisdiction. I respectfully request that the prosecution prove on the record every element of jurisdiction, including subject matter, personal, and territorial jurisdiction. Until that is done, I cannot enter a plea. The court. The court assumes jurisdiction because the case falls within the legal authority. Now, how do you plead? I object, Your Honor. I do not accept the court's assumption of jurisdiction. Assumptions are not proof. I challenge and rebut any and every presumption of jurisdiction I require the prosecution to provide evidence of proper jurisdiction on the record. Until they do so, this court has no authority to proceed. The charges are filed in this court, and that gives us jurisdiction over you. Enter a plea. Your Honor, I respectfully object. Filing charges alone does not grant jurisdiction. I'm not submitting to the court's authority until the prosecution proves evidence that this court has subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction over me, and territorial jurisdiction, all of which must be proven on the record. I demand proof, not presumption. Mr. Wilson, you cannot delay these proceedings. This court has jurisdiction, and you must enter a plea. Your Honor, I am not attempting to delay. I am simply invoking my right to challenge the court's jurisdiction, which is a fundamental element that must be proven before any proceedings continue. The burden of proof is on the prosecution, and until they satisfy that burden, I cannot proceed. Turning to the prosecutor, does the prosecution have any evidence to present on this jurisdiction? Prosecution. Your Honor, the charges have been filed in this court, which has the authority to hear criminal matters. The defendant resides in this jurisdiction, and the alleged crime occurred here. I object, Your Honor. The prosecution's statements are not evidence. I demand specific factual evidence be placed on the record to prove jurisdiction. The court must establish through admissible evidence that it has jurisdiction over both the subject matter and my person. The prosecution has presented none. Mr. Wilson, these are standard proceedings. The court has jurisdiction based on the charges and the location of the crime. Your Honor, I again respectfully object. Legal standards cannot replace factual evidence. I challenge the court to provide factual evidence of jurisdiction, as assumptions and standard practices do not fulfill the legal requirement of proof. Until jurisdiction is established on the record, I do not submit to this court's authority, nor will I enter a plea. Mr. Wilson, you are required to follow the procedures of this court. Your Honor, I comprehend. However, I am exercising my right to challenge jurisdiction, and I request that this court acknowledge that no plea can be entered until jurisdiction is proven. I reserve all rights and rebut all presumptions that this court has jurisdiction unless it is established on the record. Your Honor, I believe the defendant is attempting to delay the case. I object, Your Honor. Is Peabody over here? I'm not attempting to delay anything. I am exercising my right to ensure that this court is operating within lawful authority. Hold on, I lost my music, man. Up over here, where my music go? Yeah. Oh, if y'all liking what we doing right now, go ahead and hit the like button. You did. Okay. I object, Your Honor. I am not attempting to delay anything. I am exercising my right to ensure that the court is operating within its lawful authority. Jurisdiction must be proven, not presumed, and I'm merely requiring the prosecution to do their duty and establish it with admissible evidence. Come on with it, Peabody. You have made your point, Mr. Wilson. However, the court will move forward. I will ask you once more, how do you plead? Your Honor, with all due respect, I cannot and will not enter a plea until the prosecution has proven jurisdiction on the record. I maintain my challenge and my objection to the court's authority to proceed until this matter is settled. Mr. Wilson, this court has already stated that we have jurisdiction based on the location of the alleged crime and the charges. You are delaying the proceedings by refusing to enter a plea, and I must warn you that if you continue, there could be consequences for obstruction. Your Honor, with all due respect, I am not obstructing these proceedings. I am asserting my legal right to challenge the court's jurisdiction, which has not yet been proven on the record. As you are aware, once jurisdiction is challenged, it must be established under law, not by presumption or assumption. The prosecution has already stated that the crime took place within this jurisdiction and you reside here. What more do you require? Your Honor, I respectfully submit that statements from the prosecution are not evidence in a matter this serious. The court cannot proceed without proof of jurisdiction that complies with the law. The court cannot assume jurisdiction based on mere assertions or location. It must be proven. I demand that the prosecution produce lawful evidence demonstrating this court's authority to even hear the case. This court handles criminal matters like this every day. We have jurisdiction and the charges have been properly filed. I'm asking you for the last time, how do you plead? Your Honor, I again respectfully object. It is established law that jurisdiction must be proven once challenged. I have raised a challenge and the prosecution must meet the burden of proving that with evidence that the court has subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction, and territorial jurisdiction. Until they provide this date, any actions this court takes would be void ab initio without legal effect. I mean, Your Honor, we have already indicated that the crime occurred within the state and that the defendant lives in this jurisdiction. That should be sufficient. I object. That is not sufficient under law, and you know that, Peabody. I require the prosecution to prove these elements through proper documentation or admissible evidence on the record. Merely stating that a crime allegedly occurred here is not enough, and y'all know that. The law requires proof, and I challenge the prosecution to present it. The court has jurisdiction. We are moving forward. Your Honor, I must object again. If the prosecution cannot produce evidence on the record that establishes jurisdiction, I move for a dismissal of the case for lack of jurisdiction. Under Constitution and common law principles, jurisdiction again must be proven, not presumed. Any further actions taken by this court without proper jurisdiction will be ultra vires beyond the court's legal authority. All right, this is not the time for legal lessons, boy. You are expected to participate in these proceedings like anyone else, and this court has jurisdiction and we will proceed. Your Honor, I do not seek to lecture, but I must insist on the rule of law. The prosecution must meet its burden, and I cite the case of Ex parte Young and others, which demonstrate that jurisdiction must be established once challenged. This is not a trivial matter. I respectfully demand that the prosecution produce evidence, the state, whether in form of affidavits, certified records, or other lawful documentation that proves jurisdiction. And until this is done, I cannot proceed in any manner. Turning to the prosecution, does the prosecution have anything further to add on jurisdiction? Now, we've already explained that the crime occurred within this court's jurisdiction, and we have presented the charges. I object again, Your Honor. The prosecution has only made assertions or assertions, which are not evidence. I require the production of specific evidence on the record to prove jurisdiction, and the law requires proof, not allegations. So I demand to see documentation such as the lawful authority under which this court is proceeding, proof of proper service, because I ain't got none, and any other necessary evidence to establish the court's jurisdiction, in which we will prove at that time at the next hearing. Mr. Wilson, this court has already stated that we have jurisdiction, and I will not entertain this further. Your Honor, respectfully, I must continue to challenge jurisdiction until it is proven according to law. Before refusing to provide proof of jurisdiction, this court is acting beyond its lawful authority. I move for dismissal based on lack of jurisdiction. If jurisdiction cannot be proven, then this court has no lawful standing to proceed. Oh, baby girl woke up. Uh-oh, we getting cut short today. I know it came off. It's all right. We can put in another one whenever you're ready. You want to do it now? All right. Well, that's the end of part 1. Because baby girl, she not going to have it. So, I'll see y'all on the next one.